Guys, welcome back and thanks for joining me on another episode of Henderson Equipment. Today we're not going to do a repair video. Instead, we're going to do some lumberjacking. I figured it'd be fun to watch me take down this massive tree I have in the backyard. I don't know how I'm going to take it down yet. I've been looking at it. I'm scared about it. It's one of them widow makers, and yeah, I figure we can get it done together. So let's get into it. So to cut down this big tree today, I'm going to use this Stihl chainsaw that I got at an auction. This has an 18-inch bar on it, and it's a Stihl 028 AV Super. So you could look up the specs to see all the ins and outs of it. I really don't know that much about it. All I know is that it works and it cuts well. However, though, I noticed it was getting dull, so I'm going to put a new 18-inch chain on it, put some fresh fluids in it, and then go figure out how to knock down this tree. So growing up on the farm, we didn't have a lot of we didn't have money to buy a lot of like the nicer things like a Stihl chainsaw like this. My father and I, we always cut down trees using what they had at Sears at the time, whether it was like a Poulon or a Craftsman. And I think we were using Craftsman ones back in the day, and then when we needed one as Sears closed, we went to I think Poulon or whatever they had at Home Depot. So we never used fancy saws. We always got the job done, and we did a lot of work with those we'll say basic homeowner ones. The Stihls they're much better quality. They're built for heavier duty use, and that's what I'm going to do today. So what I'm doing now is just changing out this. Let's clean all that up. I'm just going to change out this chain because it's dull as hell. And I could take my time and sharpen this chain. I will say, though, I have not been a good chainsawer, and this may have hit some metal now and then. I also don't want to be bothered, so let me cut this open. So this is the chain I bought at Tractor Supply. It says it fits the Stihl chainsaw. Fits an 18-inch chainsaw. You got to check the pitch on these things. And okay, so we got the gauge is 63. Yeah, okay, it was 63, so that's good. File size. I think this should do it. It is very common to put these on backwards. I know I have put these on backwards before. And that's fitting in there nice. Yep. You know if you got the wrong size chain if these do not sit in flush right away. A lot of chainsaw debris. Let's clean this out. I'll show you because we need to make sure that our bar is being lubricated properly. And when you see this, you'll see like, oh man, that's a lot of shit. A lot of sawdust. A lot of sawdust. Let's take all this shit off. Try to clean it. Ooh. Okay, now that it's all cleaned, put this bar on, baby. You can't work on stuff every day. Some people want to, some people don't want to. Everyone's different. And I wouldn't say like I want to repair things every day, but I do want to be productive every day because, there's always something to do. And I don't believe in boredom. Like when someone says I'm bored, I don't know how you can be bored. I mean, I guess you could be bored if you're going somewhere or trying to do something, and whatever it is that you're doing, you're bored. But if you're at home and you say, like, yeah, I got nothing to do, I'm just bored, well, then you better go get to it. Just tensioning up this chain here. It's a little tight, but I think it's going to loosen up. It's moving okay. It's going to loosen up. I think I'll go a little tighter. Let's leave it like that for now. So, like I was saying, I got to cut this tree down because if I don't cut it down myself, Mother Nature will bring her down. So, I would prefer that it come down by my hand rather than by Mother Nature's, because if it comes down by Mother Nature's hand, it's going to be messy, and we don't want that. Because if it's messy, then it's just more work for me. Okay. Chains on there tight. Let's put some bar oil and some fresh fuel in this thing. Shit's sticky. It's Sunday, by the way, and it's probably gonna be the last nice day we have before winter decides to be a bitch. Let's make up some fresh fuel here. I have a special, mix that I do for my two-stroke stuff, and it always seems to work well. I buy like the oil mixture. I buy that still oil mixture. It seems to be good. So I measure that out. I put that in a gallon of gas. I put MMO, Marvel Mystery Oil, in my two-stroke, and I also put some stabilizer, marine stabilizer, in there. And I don't know, everything always starts up and runs, so I'm not going to change it. I have a video on my YouTube if you guys want to take a look and watch it. Some people mock me saying that it's a waste of time, but like I said, my shit always works, so I'm sticking with it. And let's put some special sauce in there. Mix this shit up. That should be plenty. While we're here, I might as well just check the spark plug. And the air cleaner. That's actually funny. Makes me wonder, like, how is this still working? Because look at that air filter. Well, I'm glad we took that off. It's actually not good. Keep it, that thing was still breathing. Okay. Clean that out. Look at that filter now. Big difference, huh? Surprised that thing was even starting. I say that, watch, this thing won't start on me now. Alright, this is CJ7Y. I do not have one of those. CJ6s and 8s are common. The 7s, I mean, it would probably work, but let's just take a look here. It's 3/4. Hopefully we can just clean this and put it back in. If it's that bad, then I'll just go out to the store and get one, but yeah, it looks about normal. Gap looks big. Gap looks big, so I'm gonna look online, see what the spark plug gap should be real quick. Spark plug gap is supposed to be 0.20. This looks way bigger than 0.20, and it is. It's way bigger. Let's short up that gap. I have this little hammer. I think it's like a jeweler's hammer or something. I don't know. I love this thing. This thing is just awesome. Absolutely awesome. It's funny because I bought this chainsaw last year with Spanky at an auction, and I used it. I just used it like all summer long. It's worked out good, really. Figured we'd give it some love for this big ass tree. So I noticed it's not running right. You know, it's almost like it's lacking for fuel or getting a little too much fuel. It's probably might be getting too much fuel now that we cleaned it out. Which ones? All right, so on your, so what's nice about this model steel is this is before they did all the stupid government reg stuff where they don't want you messing with your chainsaw, and which is good for me because I don't like that stuff. And so we can adjust my settings here. You have a low and a high setting, and it's really common when things start to get wonky on your chainsaw that you're adjusting your low setting, so that way you're either delivering more fuel, which is very common, or less fuel. So I think we delivered more fuel here, so I'm going to get to running this thing and then tweak it, and then hopefully the RPMs pick up a lot quicker because the response is sluggish. Had to do a little, I got to stop before I gas myself out here. But had to do quite a bit of fine tuning on the high and low here, but as you can, hopefully you can hear and see, I mean, she's much more responsive and quicker. So, that's what you want. But to really, get it running right, you need the filter in place because it is a restriction. So you're not mixing to a T. But you should be good. Well, let's drive over and scope out the situation. Got the saw loaded up. And this thing's ugly. Yeah, I got some limbs falling already. And I mean, these are, I got a size 13. These aren't small limbs. And yeah, that's the tray. Probably shouldn't even be underneath it. This thing's old. Had a couple mushrooms growing on it, which were cool. But yeah, this thing just ain't pretty looking. I'm tired of running over these branches while I'm mowing. It's a pain in the ass, and I got to get up and move. So that's one aspect. The second thing is if I intentionally drop this thing on my own, I can set the direction of it, hopefully, if I'm good enough, and then it's less of a mess I got to clean up. Now, I already spoke to the neighbor, because technically I'm going to drop this on his property, and he don't give a damn. He's good with it, and I would prefer to drop it on his property off in this one section, because if this thing drops the wrong way, it's going to go into my creek, and I don't want to go in here and, get all that debris out. So ideally, if I can cut this thing in the right corner and drop it in this high weed area where there's already these limbs, that would be the best situation. But the bad news is that, it's leaning in the wrong direction. See how this thing's just leaning? It's leaning back. It's curling. It's not going to want to drop to the right. So I'm going to have to get a little creative here. Before I start chainsawing, let's go get some supplies. I don't know if I have any more long rope left. I might actually. Let's get 2 chains. Ideally, I would have a rope that I could tie up, higher up in the tree, maybe snake it up with the backhoe, and then tie that rope to my chain to the backhoe. That way I can kind of pull and direct it in a certain orientation. So, setup is key here in taking down some of these scary trees. Let's see what's in the old barn. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I have this old anchor here that should be 100 foot of rope. I'm in winter prep mode, so you never know how winter is going to be. Recently we've had very mild winters, but sometimes you might get 3 feet of snow. So just trying to get a lot of this stuff done before winter comes. That way I can free up my winter for just my project stuff that I want to do in the garage. Because when it's cold out, I mean, you don't really want to physically be outside a lot. So all right, let's get a wrench and let's also fire up the backhoe and get her warmed up. This is like a good distance. So let me see how high I can get the rope up there, because I'm going to cut the notch on the back side, and hopefully I can, when I'm cutting, hopefully I can cut it to a point where I can actually pull and it'll twist and fall down in the high brush there. That's the plan. One time my dad was chainsawing on the farm, and the chainsaw slipped and it cut his arm, and I mean, it cut it straight open, like all the way here. So ever since then I wear long sleeves. I'm gonna try. Wish I had a bigger chainsaw. Definitely heard a pop. And I don't want to go any more on the other side because I need the strength on the other side so it falls here. I'm going to try to give this thing a little pull with the backhoe, and let's see what it does. Well, it did not drop where I wanted it to. And I guess sometimes that's how it goes. I was really hoping to drop it the other way, but it was not angled right. All the weight was on one side, and the wood's rotten too, so I tried to cut a little bit, but it didn't work out. So now I got this huge mess on my hands. There goes my Sunday. Just for perspective, to show how big the tree is. You know, it's not the biggest tree in the world, but you know, I mean, it's a big tree. I got big hands. Well, the saw did good. You know, for what it's worth, but the backhoe should be able to pick up like most of this. So I think what I'll do is I'll probably just trim this limb off, and then I'll try to pull this whole thing to the woods.